What's up, bud? We're live. How you doing?
Of course we are.
What's going
What's
on?
up, brother man? How you
I,
doing?
I'm doing okay. I think you should have come busting through like the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's a little bit like, kind of like Macho Man, Randy Savage-esque.
A whole
You
lot
know?
less macho though.
A
I
whole
am
lot,
certainly.
a whole lot less.
How you doing?
Oh
Oh
man.
shit!
Of course we
I hear
are.
myself feeding back.
Ugh.
Ah,
So what's going on? Let's see. Just want to see who's in here. We got a bunch of people in here now. We got 16 of them, and they're just strolling in. So you got your coffee there. You're ready to go. Tonight I figured what would be a good topic to kind of try to talk about, even though we'll certainly venture off and talk about all sorts of stuff, but a little bit of a continuation of last week and just basically buying comics and coins in a down market, in a bear market. It's not just the precious metals that's feeling this. It's kind of like across the board, right? We're seeing this in other areas of collectibles.
right.
That being said, we saw, didn't the new inflation rate come out? It's at 9.1%.
Horrendous.
Yep. So we're going to
Disgusting.
see, yeah. They're going to raise interest rates. They're going to strengthen the dollar. Because the dollar is going to be strengthened, we're going to see the precious metals prices drop even further. And I kind of laugh. I kind of laugh at the people that make those freaking predictions, saying that gold and silver is going to shoot the moon and everything like that. I mean,
It's gonna bounce. It's just not gonna shoot
gonna
the
bounce.
moon. It's gonna bounce. It's just not gonna shoot the moon like rocket fuel.
No.
I mean,
And
they're conflating cryptocurrency overnight successes from tweets by Elon Musk and silver and gold.
Mhm.
And it's just not the way it works. It's
Nope.
one is slow and steady wins the race, and that's why one of the most strategic ways to buy is dollar cost averaging. Slow and steady wins the race.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
with the shoot the moon nonsense, I mean, nobody could buy. None of us could buy enough gold or silver at one time to make a serious,
No.
significant life change for ourselves or even in the
Or
market.
anybody, right? No. It's funny. And I've said before, and I'll say it again. And we already got a question in here asking like about silver and how low do you think it will get. I always stay away from making predictions. I have no problem asking other people their predictions. I won't make predictions because there's a guarantee that I will be completely wrong. And then you'll get some asshole that's going to be like, haha, you were wrong.
Right.
So I just don't make the predictions. And also, everybody is freaking wrong. If people are making predictions and were correct, they wouldn't be wherever they are. They would be just living the life with their billions of dollars. Like, stop making predictions. I've had analysts on here who are pros. They were like $2,400, $2,500 gold, and here we are at like 1730.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's a difference between hope and prediction. For you to project what you hope is a much different animal than to use educated decision making and historic, you know, KPIs, for lack of a better term, but using KPIs to, or indicators to decide that it's going to go up or it's going to go down. I mean, look, the reality is, we say this about every show, just about every damn show. We say that the last 2 years since COVID and since Biden, literally nothing economic is standard.
Right.
When the dollar tanks, silver hasn't done anything. When
Right.
crypto crashed, silver precious metals really didn't do anything.
Right.
So all of these traditional methodologies just don't apply. So what it comes down to is, do what's best for you. Do what's
Yeah.
best for you and your family and your pocketbook and your style of investing, or in some cases, your style of entertainment, or whatever it is you're allocating towards the precious metal space or alternative asset space. Just enjoy it. Have a
Yeah.
good old time, and don't overcommit. Don't make a
Yeah.
commitment to something that you can't back up.
At 100%. And you know, you're aware, and a lot of people that are watching, like, I'm friends with my local coin shop owner, Steve. So he and I are always talking, and he and I strategize together because, I send him business, and I send, people that view our videos, they go to his shop and they're like, oh, I saw you on, Stormy's channel. And we do refer business to one another. And also sometimes, like, he will give me some product to sell, and other times he needs stuff that I actually have. He will
Right.
call me up and he'll say, like, I have this woman that's looking for a gold lunar tiger. I saw you have them. Can I get one of those? Or, I need
Yeah.
I need 3 buffaloes. I got this big client, and I need 3 more buffaloes. Can you
To make
can
them
you get them
happy
to me?
or whatever. Right.
Yep. And so we talk a lot about dollar cost averaging, and right now it's a very challenging time. I had this discussion. I actually, Stacking Surfer, who's in here, he and I spoke today for about 40 minutes on the phone. And this time, right now, this is a challenging time for precious metals dealers and resellers. The problem is, and I was talking to you about some of the pain that I was feeling, is when I buy silver and gold, there's a lag time in which I have to wait for payment to clear. So oftentimes I'll either use the credit card or PayPal
To speed up the process.
to
Right.
speed up the process. Because sometimes your check you could be waiting for
10
5
days.
Mm-hmm.
It could be up to 10 days waiting for that check to process, and then they go to fulfillment, which could be another 3 or 4 days.
Yes, and then you have
And
to
then
wait for it to actually
then
ship
mail.
and get to you. Think about all that time in between where spot price drops. So even though bullion exchanges is right across, I'm in New Jersey. I'm about an hour from New York City. Okay. Bullion exchanges, I bought some stuff off of them. They had a decent deal on some gold. I bought, 10 1/10 ounce gold tigers. And the whole time I'm waiting, and then you see the spot price continuing to drop. I'm like, these effing ball bags. I'm just sitting here waiting. And then, sure enough, luckily, the only thing that I had going for me, 2 things I would say. Number one, it's like a lower mintage coin. It's a 1/10 ounce, so it's like a little bit easier for people to buy. But then also, like, I do have, a devoted following where people are going to spend a little bit more in support of the channel. They
Yep.
know that they're going to get the item shipped from me, and they know if there's ever a problem that they have me there to back it up, that I'll respond, that I'll make things right if ever needed to. But yeah, so I'm watching all the spot prices drop, and so basically I'm seeing my profit margins just shrinking away.
Dwindle away. Yeah, look, I mean, when COVID was in full swing, and do you remember when spot was like 33 and people were getting like 43, 44, $45 an ounce just for standard stuff? I mean, I remember buying 5-ounce and 10-ounce bars from a couple of bigger people on social media, and it taking 3 weeks for the stuff to arrive. And by the time it arrived, it dropped like $10. And like, It's like, wow, man, thanks for the help. I really
No,
appreciate that. If I wanted to lose, I would have just stuck my cash in a blender.
right.
And
That's but
that's what
tasty.
also they're paying for. They're paying for that speed that you're willing to
Yeah.
stay up
Yeah.
all night, take the next day and package and ship and get it
Yep.
out the door.
Yep. I usually during the normal school year, uh, I pack it the following day and then I'll ship it Thursday. But now, summers, I'll come in here, pack it all the next morning, ship it out. But
Well, you,
yeah,
look, what drop I watch these people on social media do things called banks, or what is it? I have you have a
wallets,
wallet, a bank. Um,
like where you buy and like I just put it aside for you and then eventually ship it to you like a month later, that sort of
yep,
thing. Yeah, I do
yep.
that every once in a while. I do that as like a courtesy to some of the
But
um, yeah.
those are not people who are looking to profiteer.
No, those are
Those.
they're just adding. Like Steve Woods, he's right there. Steve Woods, he has been with me for a couple of years now. And
Mhm.
so as a courtesy to Steve, he's only one of the very few. I'll put stuff aside. He'll buy one item here, he'll buy another couple the next week, and you know, pieces here or there. And then once we hit a certain amount, he's like, okay, send it. And then he starts the process
Yeah,
up again.
but you're also neurotic. You don't like when somebody pays you, you feel like you owe them, and you don't like owing anybody anything. So it takes a special long-term relationship for that to happen. But I
Yeah.
see people as a modus operandi, as an MO, they function on these banks, or what did you call them? The
Wallets. They call them
wallets. I mean,
wallets.
whatever kitschy bullshit they call it. I mean, like, really, if you're paying a premium, deliver the stuff in my hand now,
Right.
because I'm paying more for it.
Yeah,
So
I want it.
yeah, I want it, and if the shit hits the fan, or if prices start to tank, I can get rid of it. But if prices start to tank and I have to claim my wallet, and then they take 5 days to do it and another 5 days to mail it, I mean, it can be a disaster. Anyway, I don't want to get into beating that up
No.
too much, but
So, but the purpose of that is now when we're talking about buying in this bear market, when it comes to the metals, the problem with that is what we've been talking about, spot prices. And even though everybody in here, by and large, agrees that the spot price and the physical metal prices have diverged quite a bit, we've all seen it, but and we all put up with it and are buying precious metals with these much higher premiums. However, when spot price still comes down, everybody is thinking that the premium should continue to follow, which they do to some extent. But there are people that are looking to get into the buying and selling of precious metals, and I caution them to know that these scenarios, it's not all glitz and glamour, and you're not getting tons of profit. There are times, dude, where you are going to eat it,
you're eating
and
it. You're eating it to put the cash back into
back in
commerce.
full disclosure. And I told Stacking Surfer, I don't care. Last night I had my auction and I pretty much broke even because a lot of the stuff that I was sitting on had been purchased at higher prices. And some of the items, big ticket items, I lost money on. And luckily, there were other things that I bought at a lower price point and was able to sell for more, and
Cover
it
it, right?
covers it, and I break even, and I did what I needed to do. And it's you got to constantly be doing that. It's not just me. I know plenty of other people who are buying and selling, and they're having the same issue. But when it comes to like comic books now, right? I wouldn't say
Mm-hmm.
by any means that I'm like a seasoned, you know, buyer and collector and reseller. I've dabbled in it. I've done it. I was profitable. Um, but what I thought was so interesting, and I'm going to say it again for those people who weren't here last week, and you had opened up my eyes to looking at something in a very different way, and that was when you are buying and selling comic books. And right now, if you're buying like expensive ones, you have to be aware that the prices can come down drastically. But instead
Mm-hmm.
of just sitting on it and being like, crap, I bought that, it was $5,000, Now it's worth 2,500. You can fix that situation by buying it lower, dollar cost averaging down. I do not know why I never viewed comic books that way. It's right under my nose. I never thought of that, or any collectible for that matter. I mean, you could apply that methodology with anything.
To just about
never,
anything is
yeah.
Where you can't apply it, for those guys out there who are rolling their eyes, you can't apply it for things that you're taking a significant, overwhelming risk on. So if, for example, you're spending more money than you really should be, and you're technically over leveraging on the opportunity, then you can't possibly do it. I'll give it. I'll give you an example. If you're at a blackjack table and you're down to your last $100, and you're like, "Oh man, I'm just gonna go all in, win it or lose it. I'm just gonna dump it all." As soon as you do that, if you lose, you're like, "Man, you live in regret." Because you've over leveraged yourself. And so the same thing happens here. If you went and borrowed $5,000 to buy a book or a stack of precious metals, and then market goes down, you shouldn't go borrow more to dollar cost average down. This model only works if you're doing, strategic spending based on your actual income and your disposable money. But 1,000%, like, you can't do it in the car world. Like, I'm gonna go buy a Toyota Camry and I'm gonna pay $4,000, and the next month I'm gonna go buy one for $2,000. Now I've got two.
It's
I mean,
different.
like, yeah, some of the stuff, some of it's different, but bottom line is
you just start filling up your driveway with like the same car over and over again. Somebody's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just dollar cost averaging down."
Right, my Camry, 98 Camrys to the moon. But like, that's what we should be doing with all of these things. Collectibles. I do it with the cards. I do it a lot with sports cards. I do it a lot with Marvel cards. I do it with comic books, and I do it with precious metals. I do it with all three of the alternative assets that I'm in.
I have
and
a
I
good
do
question.
it. What's that?
I didn't mean to cut you off. So if
No,
you
it's fine.
your thought. Out of sports cards, comic books, Pokemon, and the jewelry, or not the jewelry, but like the silver and gold, like the bullion and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the riskiest?
Mm.
I have my thoughts. I think, to be honest, I think comics are the riskiest. And I think the least risky would be the precious metals.
Okay.
Because you've got the intrinsic value of precious metals. You've got banks that hoard it, nations that hoard it, people that hoard it, and thousands of years. Comic books, I mean, I guess you could say like the first comic books were hieroglyphics on like the pyramids and like the caveman drawings, like that. Maybe that was the first appearance of Punisher or something. You know what I mean? But the metals, at least there's the intrinsic value. It's never going to be worth nothing. I mean, the stuff over here, it's cool to look at, but I mean, those to me are much more risky. But what say you?
So the riskiest thing is sports cards.
I was gonna throw that out there. Yeah.
The riskiest thing is
sports cards. ACL or steroids. Guys taking steroids, and
somebody beats up their wife. Right, gets drunk, DWI, and their career's over.
Or they're trading for a crap team or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So sports cards are absolutely the riskiest, but they can also be some of the highest overnight gains, right? So in the same way that the guy can sprain an ankle and be out for a season and his price tanks, he can score 20 baskets in the playoffs. Right. And okay, but there's again, you also have, the market to sell and buy and all that other stuff. So sports cards is number one riskiest. The second riskiest is going to be silver. Not gold, silver. The reason why is because it is very easy for silver to come down without premium impacting it. So if silver comes down $2 today, premium doesn't come down $2. Premium stays the same. If silver goes up $5, premium's also going to go up $5. So silver's the hardest to recover from, although it is stable. It's hard to recover from. Gold, on the other hand, you can leverage because it's so expensive. So while gold isn't going to profit by its movement in the market price, you can profit from gold by buying in volume where other people can't. So I do this all the time with jewelry, like bracelets, like this bracelet right here. The shop could wait 5 years before somebody walks in with 20 or 30 grand to buy this thing. But because I'm willing to spend 15,000 right now, they'll sell it to me for that, to put that money back in commerce.
It's funny that you say that, because I just had a video that's going to be dropping within a few days. It's another one of the interviews I had with the coin shop owner, Tim, up in Vermont. And what just happened? Just like dropped down or something?
There you go. Yeah.
What happened?
Do the wink. Do the rock wink. There you go.
He had a really high-end precious metals item that was just ornate and couldn't find the right buyer for, and so he had to sell it, to like the refiner or whatever, just sell it out.
Melt it down.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, silver is definitely a lot riskier than gold is, for sure, without a doubt. And I was telling you over the phone today, gold, man, is such a dog when it comes to selling. Like the buying and selling. Go ahead.
So to finish that thought, again, remember, all of this is completely dependent on your ability to put it back into market. So you have an audience that allows you to put things back into market. Okay, there are 99.9% of the people out there do not have that, much less your ability. They don't have any ability. They can go post something on social media right now and nobody would give two flips.
Yeah.
So they could go, I'm selling this, and nobody would care. So, being able to put something back in market also matters. Now, that said, your gold profits come from being able to buy something that most people can't. Your silver profit comes in your ability to hold and wait. Your sports card profit comes from having the stomach to flip very quickly if you can. But again, you got to have the audience. You got to have like an eBay account. You got to have all this stuff in place to get rid of it, right? You got to have it. And then I think comics are actually the most stable. Why? Because it's not an economy driver. It's an emotion driver. It's based on feeling. It's based on history. It's based on nostalgia. And those are emotional buying decisions that usually are associated with people who have expendable income and are making a choice. They're making a positive, targeted choice. If you go buy 10 ounces of silver, you might be hoping that for some reason it's worth more money tomorrow. But when you spend money on a collectible, you know that it's not a driver in the same way. And so to me, it's a more stable industry. I can also tell you that mathematically, comics is my number one profit center for value across the board outside of gold. But you know how I do in gold. I buy pounds and then I give them pennies on the dollar because I'm willing to walk away with a potato sack full of gold. So you know how I operate there. But comics to me is the actual reverse. I think it is the most stable and one of the most fun things, other than like all of this.
Yeah, I would agree. And I messaged somebody in the comic space on Instagram, and I had said to them, like, there's just so much more, and you and I have spoken about this before too, there's so much more that you could talk about when it comes to comic books. I mean, it's more of a mainstream niche on YouTube, but you have, like we've talked about this, the artists, the characters, the stories, the inkers, the different fights. I mean, there's so
colorist, the history, the
all
writer,
all of it. There's
The
so
first
much.
appearances, right? What happens to the cinematic universe? What happens to
Yeah.
television? What about actors?
Right.
If
Right.
Billy Bob No Name gets selected to be Punisher, that's one thing. If Brad Pitt becomes Punisher, that's a whole different can of worms, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
100%.
the ability to find a profit center is way more forgiving in comics. You can find one of 50 things has to happen to impact a comic book,
Right.
where they're all most everything else is very, very, very limited.
Now, here's another good question for you too. And I know you haven't been selling a lot just yet because you're still getting your books in order. I know that you're going to be having a whatnot sale
Hmm.
very soon, and you're basically getting all of your ducks in a row and figuring out like what you're going to be putting up and so on and so forth. Which line of characters like would you say or do you think is the most popular and if somebody's like looking to flip, like it's hard for people to just go out and buy the very first of every comic book.
Right.
Same as
Not going to
coins. You
happen.
can't just go out. So you're almost kind of like picking the horse that you want to put your money on, right?
Uh huh.
And some things take off, some things don't. Like for example, The Walking Dead, right? Just a little indie nothing, and then it got picked up by AMC, and then there you go. And then it just became this phenomenon, and it drove an entire like zombie um, culture, if you will, for quite a while. Then you look at The Boys, which you and I just talked about. Like I still
Hmm.
only watched the first 20 minutes of the first episode and then I fell asleep, but I am going to watch it. But The Boys now, the first Boys comic book is now like one of the trending $450, $500, $600 books.
Hmm.
That being said, like to you, what do you think when you're going to be selling on whatnot? Like, what do you view as being like, is going to be the most profitable character or line of books? Like, is it going to be Spider-Man books? Is it going to
It's
be
a
Hulk books? Is it?
That is a great question, but I think that people in this audience who are maybe focused on precious metals can apply the same methodology to comics. You have generic precious metals, which you stack for weight because it's just old faithful and reliable, right? Then you have this really, really one-off items, the 99s, the 10s, the variants that are 1 in 100. You have those types of things. That is like buying a COA piece with a very limited mintage.
Right.
Uh, I think you can look at collectibles in the same light as you do with precious metals. Now, that said, you have Old Faithfuls, which is like, your stackables, like junk silver, like American Silver Eagles, Silver Maples, that sort of
So
stuff. Well,
what's your like? What do you equate to being like the junk silver?
The Spider-Mans, the Punishers, the Wolverines, the
The
X-Men.
mainstreams that is everybody's favorites.
Well, it's just the things that people know,
Mhm.
right? And so think about this. When your kids are watching cartoons, you're like, what in the hell are they watching? And you're like, man, I remember watching He-Man and She-Ra when I was growing up, or Thundercats. Like,
Yes,
okay.
I
Like,
remember.
I'm thank God I missed the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But depending on which generation you are, and it could be just a year or two, um, your culture code is crafted by what's available in the market, right? So I think that's what you got to keep in mind is which characters are universally dominant and known across generations, and that's the Supermans, the Batmans, the Spider-Mans. It's
That's your
less
safe.
of
It's your safe zone.
Yeah, it's less DC versus Marvel. Like, very few people have that sort of mentality of Team Marvel versus Team DC unless you're into it. What you know is, I know Batman, and I know that Batman's been going since the early 60s, and I know Superman, and I've seen, right? I mean, like, you have all of these things to play on, and those are old faithful. So if you want to get started in the comic space, start with Old Faithful. because those will always sell to another person who's just trying to get started.
You know,
If
let's
it's
also, yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was going to say too, the other thing that it feels a little overwhelming to be a reseller of comics, for the fact of, like you said, there's all the different variants, and then there's the different grades, and there's, I think, a much wider range of grades for comic books than there are for coins. You know what I mean? Like, you've got the, very fine, fine, very good, extra fine, whatever. Then you have the MS 60s up to the MS 70s for coins. But when it comes to comic books, right, you got 0.51, 1.5, 1.82, 2.5,
You have
all the way up.
half point,
Then you,
quarter point scales, right?
all the way up to 9, and then you get 9.2, 4, 6, 8, and then you go 9, 9, 10. White pages, off-white pages, off-white to cream pages. Like, then there's so much variation. So when it comes to the buying and selling of comic books, I feel like that's also going to be a little bit challenging to know which to buy of which grade. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, you and I are similar in that, like, you and I were looking at a comic book that most people be like, oh yeah, that's awesome, but you're like, nope, it's not a 9.8. I'm not taking it.
Mm-hmm.
But to the average person, they're like, I'll get that in a 8 or whatever.
Well, well, I mean that I think, okay, so first of all, another hint for anybody who's just starting out is if you've got a book that was done anytime in the 2000s and newer, don't even bother getting something less than a 9.8. It's too modern. I mean, keep in mind that it was 95, 91, something like, I think it was 95 actually, where slabbing, protecting, and grading comics really became mainstream and not weird. Like, it wasn't I can tell you the collection I bought, the $90,000 collection that I got, was a superb collection, because when the man was building that collection, it was the epitome of what you could go for. It was the top. Because when he built it, there was no grading. You didn't go slab comics. You just didn't do it.
Well, when you and I were kids, they didn't have.
No, right.
So I would, bag, board, not even touch, put them away, done.
Right. But now that anything in the late 90s, 2000s and on, needs to be 9.8, because now the trend is different. People were buying books to get them graded, to get them slabbed, and to resell. So anything that's in the 90s and older is okay, buying something that's not a 9.8. Anything late 90s and newer, don't even touch it. You might find the $57 price point attractive, but you'll never get your money out of it, because there's too many that have been graded.
So many. And let me ask you, is there a website that actually will tell, I don't know if you know this, is there a website that will actually tell you the number of books that were actually printed for that particular issue?
Yes. So it depends on which source, and it depends on whether the book has been graded. So if you go to CGC as a member, you can pull most of that data.
So they can say, like, okay, Venom #1, there was 100,000 of those books printed.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will give you a totally different population showing you all the different grades.
They'll give you a census count, and it'll be like,
I didn't realize that CGC had that.
So, and Go Collect does it too. Like, I'll give you an example. This one of these books back here, this one. Is
that the black and white Spawn?
The black and white Spawn. So there's like 60 on the census in total, and only 20 have sold in the last like 15 years.
60, that's it.
60 on the census in 9.8. You go to 9.6, 9.4, there might be 150, there might be 200, whatever. And it also depends on the variant and when it was released and how it was released.
Is that a newsstand edition?
What's that? It did not come in newsstand. It did not come in newsstand because it's a variant.
You're disappointing me that you don't have a barcode on it.
It's a variant. Variants don't come in newsstands. So the variant cover, The variant cover, when it's a shop motivator, a spiff, if you will, for every 25 regular books you buy, you'll get one bonus book. For every 50, for every 100, for every 500 books. And you got to figure most shops are not buying hundreds of copies of a book.
Right.
So that said, when you have a variant that's like a 1 in 50, there's only so many shops that bought 50 books, and therefore there's only so many variants out there. And that can actually make it even more valuable because there's even fewer.
When did the variant stuff even start happening?
So the variant stuff started happening in the 90s when it was a way for comic book artists to get their names on a cover. Right. So the publishers didn't want to put some new guy's art on a cover because they wanted to sell the book. So they wanted the Stan Lee and the Bagley, and they wanted the McFarlanes, right? They wanted that. So the way it worked is they used variant covers
as like your is that like your rookie? That'd be like your rookie. Like okay, we're calling you up from the minors. Here's your shot. Let's see how this does.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, okay, this guy is pretty good. Let's give him another shot at another one. And
and there's a couple of people like Delato. Like we like Delato's art, right? Delato
is insane.
It's beautiful, but he is strictly a variant artist. He's found himself a niche where people will seek him out and say, this is a really big book, we want to do a special something for it, and so they'll make him a strong offer. So variants really, and Silver Heist says variant cover artist sounds like an opening band. Yes, it used to be. That's how you got known. You open for Metallica and you might become Green Day. But nowadays, sometimes, sometimes those bands are powerful. Well, these artists have done the same thing.
Right.
And McFarlane was an inside artist. And he did Spider-Man. Stan Lee finally broke down and said, do Spider-Man. And it was the #1 selling Spider-Man. You have him.
Yeah.
You have him on the wall.
All over.
But that was the #1 selling Spider-Man in history. And they were like, holy cow, I guess he's onto something. His style is onto it. So let's let him do more. Right. And so you're right. It was like a trial run. It was like tryouts. It was tryouts.
Yeah. So do you have an ETA? Not necessarily ETA, but do you have like an estimated plan as to when you're going to be doing a sale and whatnot? Is it a couple weeks out? Are you looking a month out? What are we looking at?
I have no specific timeline because it's got it. So the one thing about Whatnot is, unlike, say, one of the YouTube auctions like you do, where you can go for 3 hours, and you have the video clips and you're entertaining and you talk about things, and Whatnot's focus is moving product, not because they want you to shuffle product, but because their trick is people don't have to sit around and wait if the item up for sale is not what they want. Within a minute, within 30 seconds, it's another item. So that's really the trick with Whatnot. They don't really promote long, drawn out sales where you get 6
so what 5 minutes. An hour?
No, the length of the auction is irrelevant. It's the length of time that the item is up for sale.
So let me ask you this too, because a while back I did do the timer, and then you were talking about a timer the other night, and I was like, I should put that back up there. So I did it last night, and people liked it for the most part. As long as I could remember that it's there, I would reset it every time like a new bid was there. I would reset it, and then eventually you see the bidding slow, and then count down, and then done, move on to the next item. For the Whatnot auctions, it counts down, and then if somebody bids, it adds another 10 seconds to it, you said, or something like that.
So there's 2 ways, right? So you have the creep auction where if somebody bids, it gives it an additional 10 seconds for somebody else to bid. And if that doesn't happen, then the last bidder wins. And then you have sudden death, which is just, some of these guys do snipers, load your weapons. And then it's like they play some video clip. And then the last one that's on the screen after the video clip wins. So they do both models. You can choose what you want to do. But their goal is to move through a volume of products. So your question is, when am I going to do the first auction? I'm going to do the first whatnot auction when I feel comfortable enough with the amount of product that I've sifted through and believe in the quality of. Because you were talking coins, you were talking the comparison between coins and grading comics. There are so many levels to comics, but what determines a grade is very clear. When it comes to coins, it's left to interpretation.
Right.
So is this a bag mark? Is it a chatter mark? Is it a production mark? Is it did somebody lick it? Is it a stain? What is it, a milk spot? Is it tarnish? So all of that said, there is a wide variety of things in the coin world that are mostly misunderstood, and the grading is totally subjective, not objective. But in comics, it's completely objective. You count literally spine tick, color break, spine tick, color break, spine tick, color break, tear, rip, staple, seam. Like, you literally, if you can just basically go through the book.
Like a grid almost, and like you just tally up all the boo-boos with it, and each thing cuts the grade down.
Then you got a grade. And I can tell you that I got certified in coin grading and I got certified in card grading. Neither one of them do that. You sort of get this general idea of what's wrong, and then you formulate this subjective reasoning for the grade. And that's the truth.
So you're saying that the comics is a lot more concrete.
It's concrete and it's visual and people can understand it. Does it have a rip in it? What is the difference between a swirl and a bag mark? What is the difference between a chatter and a bag mark? What is the difference between a perfectly reeded edge and a tilted reeded edge? Like, how much does that vary? How much variance does that have? When you talk about a clean coin versus a non-clean coin, when you talk about proof-like or cameo, when you talk about any of those things, deep mirror proof-like finish, the dimples.
Right. Are you going to do a little of both raw and slabbed? Do you think you're going to be doing slabbed only? Like, do you see yourself leaning more towards one over the other, or are you just going to offer a variety of stuff?
I'm going to offer a variety, but I think I'm going to pick a day to do slabs. I might mix it up, because when you do raw books, there's always somebody there that's like waiting for the slab. The problem is slabs by nature are much rarer, and they're much harder to get. They're much harder to ship. There's much more risk with them, and
higher price point.
Yeah, there's a much higher price point. I mean, you could take a $15 book and buy it right now on Instagram, Facebook, and eBay for $15. You go pay $40 and have it graded, that book can be $300. Significant increase. And so it's much more difficult to build an inventory of graded comics unless you're doing the long-term submissions yourself. So I think I'm going to do graded. But I'm going to focus on the raw books because I really enjoy getting people interested in the market versus trying to, help them find that one-of-a-kind piece. If it's a one-of-a-kind piece, I'm keeping it.
Right. Yeah.
All right, let's go. We got some questions?
Does Whatnot do coins or comics and other collectibles, but not coins? No, Heist, they do coins. They tried to get me to do coins. And I actually decided not to do Whatnot because they have a high percentage fee of what they would take from the transaction, and they also collect. There's some merit though behind the payment system. So they have like a 9% fee that they take from the actual sale. And then you, as the buyer, when you pay, it goes to Whatnot. They hold it for 3 to 5 business days until it clears. And then the money gets sent over to your account as the seller. For me, it doesn't make sense because I have my sales platform on YouTube. The only fees that I pay would be like a PayPal fee of 3.5%. That's far less than a 9%. I also do not have to wait on the money to go through the middleman. You guys are paying me direct. So for me, it doesn't make sense. The only reason I looked at doing Whatnot is because I did see, other people on there selling, and I was viewing it as a way to possibly grow subscribers and say, "Oh, guys, I'm also on YouTube. Come over, check out my YouTube channel."
Which you're not allowed to do without getting kicked off. But yeah, your argument is actually perfect. It's spot on. So for me, my other option for cards and comics is eBay. That's 13%.
Instagram.
So
you could do Instagram, and it's a similar thing.
I can do Instagram, but it takes me physically working it. People on Instagram aren't necessarily shopping. They're stumbling into what you've got, and they've got to be interested in it. Whereas at least with eBay or with Whatnot, you're not there for any other reason but to see what's available to purchase. So there's a on Instagram, you stumble into it.
No, I would disagree with you on that for the people that are established, right? So if you've got the established sales, there's Nerdy Girl, there's like a Skeleton Key, there's those handful of people that do run the sales on Instagram.
But most of their sales are on Whatnot. So
Correct.
so they do sell things on Instagram, but again, we're not talking about the exception to the rule. We're talking about the standard, the regular. So you are an exception to the rule.
Right.
You can go live in the middle of a sump and get a premium for your precious metals. You can go list 3 gold 1 ounce coins and recover or break even because of your audience. You're an exception to the rule. You are not the rule. Look at how many people we see pop into your Discord, pop into Instagram, pop into Facebook. They buy a couple of things from you, from somebody else, and all of a sudden they think they're a dealer. They think they're a seller. They think they can sell shit, and they run 5 auctions. They lose their ass, and they never come back. There's a couple of people who buy Silver Dragon's pores at $500 an ounce for some bullshit pour, and then they put it on eBay and it sits for 6 years. Like, that is not a business plan. And that is where the misconception comes in. Exceptions to the rule are not the rule. So when you have Silver Dragons be able to sell $3,000 for a 4 ounce pour, that's because he's got an audience member who wants to support him, not because his pour is worth that much money. That's not anything against him, but it's just like you. If I go and put up a Silver Eagle right now for $32, somebody's going to go, "What are you, a crook?" Meanwhile, you could do a whole auction and sell tubes of them for $32. So it's not beating somebody up. It's just the development of a different audience.
And that's the thing too. Like, don't you think that you would be able to? Because the other thing too that came with the auction is it's been a 3+ year process, right? It didn't just happen overnight. It's something that I've been working on since I started YouTube by and large, and it was something that I kind of stumbled into and just kind of rolled with and developed over time. Don't you think that you could do a very similar thing on YouTube with like graded 10 and with comics? Like, if you started pumping, go ahead.
I think anything's possible. But remember, what you did is an exception. It's look at what does Silver Dragons and Yankee have as far as subscribers?
108
Okay.
for Dragons and around 70 for Yankee.
And you have what? 17,000?
Yeah.
Your content is 1,000% better. Your personality is 10 million% better. Your offerings are wider and more vast. The commentary, the conversation is diverse. There's a trillion reasons why you're more valuable than both of those two guys combined, in my opinion.
Nice of you to say.
But
in your opinion, good thing,
I
yeah.
also beat you up when I need to, but
Yeah.
because I'm fair and I don't ever hide it. But the reality of it is that, and while you have been able to sell things like an empty bottle for $300, you have never sold a crappy pour for $4,000 that you did in your basement. There's trade-offs. You are so much better as far as a content creator, but they have look at the percentages too. They have 100,000 followers and there's 300 people on their show. They're live. You have 17,000 and you have 100 people. You have a third of their audience live with 1/10 of their subscriber count. Percentage-wise, you're kicking people in the balls.
I didn't think of that ever.
That's the way to think of it. Is like for 1/10 of your subscriber count, of 1/10 of their subscriber count, you have 3 times what they have as far as live viewership. So what's more valuable? I used to teach this in business. I'd rather be in a room with 5 people who want to hear what I have to say than in a room with 500 who could give a shit. Because those 5 people are more valuable to me. Those people are more valuable to me, my business, my bottom line, than a room full of people who are just nodding and acting like they want to be there. So the same thing applies here. Could I take and do what you did? Sure, anybody could. But there are a ton of people selling. And honestly, this is my strategy for buying. You know, I think Heist was asking me last week, how am I buying precious metal on Precious Metals Unfiltered on Monday? He was asking with Paulie Buck. He said, DOA, how are you finding nervous sellers? How are you buying cheap? And I'm going to say this because it's the same. I told you this, what I did last night. I've been on sort of this buying freeze with this high-end stuff. DOA was so off base. Silver Dragons pours in his garage. Me, caveman, watch me pour. The reality is, what are you hiding for? You're hiding the wrong side of your face.
I'm just like, oh my God. I'm just listening to you guys.
I could pull it off. I could. But timing, product, the shtick. I mean, you had all of these things going for you, and it's, again, I'm going to go back to an exception. For me, on eBay, I found that if I take my time, I list the items right, I take high-quality photos, I can make $40,000 selling the same product when somebody else can only make $3,000. That's what I've learned. I've taken my business acumen and I've applied it to what resources I have. I've also sold $20,000 worth of precious metals on Instagram. I have been able to do it. What are you giggling at?
Yankee said he's feeling the love.
Where's he? I don't even see Yankee.
He's the most recent.
But the bottom line for all of this is you have to run with the opportunity and the tools that you have at your fingertips. And I don't have the same tools you have. I don't have the same tools Yankee has. I don't have the same tools Dragons has. I don't have the same tools anybody has. I've got what I've got. Look, I can put up a post and get 2,000 likes on Instagram. That's what I got. Right. How do I convert that to dollars? I don't know yet. I don't know.
So you think Whatnot's going to be the outlet?
Well, I just think that people there are there to buy. They're there to shop. They're there to see what it is. And if I can put a solid amount of content or variety of product in front of them, then I think organically it'll happen. What my biggest fear is much like people who start YouTube auctions, my biggest fear is 2 people show up, and I take a fucking header. I'm taking a $20 book. I'm starting it at a $1 bid,
And there's
and
like somebody stops at 5 and they're like, I'm out.
yeah, and 4 auctions later, I've lost $5,000 because I've
I
just taken
get
a
the
header.
feeling. When I first started doing the auctions, I thought for sure that that's what was going to happen, and surprisingly, it didn't. There were people that bought, and I had that same fear when I was doing the comics. Um, I had a very small portion of the people that were on the auctions there to buy comic books, but sure enough, they did. If I bought a book for $10, I'm like, "Do you want this for 15, guys?" And like, you'd have like 5 people take them. I was like, "Holy crap! I'm selling the comics too." But I get the feeling it's a bit more of a gamble. And and Yankee, I hope you understand that I didn't mean to let everybody know that you got your subs from small Vietnamese children. It was not. I didn't mean to let the the can of worms or the cat out of the bag there. But Terry said that he got all of his subs from India. He bought and paid for subs from India.
Well, I mean, look, you can tell by the audience response that he's one of those guys that has a significant reach. But his model is less, to me, it's less, Yankee, take it for what you want, don't argue. For my opinion, you're more personable, Stormy, because to make your money, you have to do direct interaction with every single person that you can.
Yeah.
You have to text people, you email people, you send notifications about deals, you post deals up, you work the audience. I mean, for lack of a better way you work the audience because that's how you run your business. That's how you develop relationships. I don't see Yankee being able to do that. I don't see Dragons being able to do that. But I also see what I'm, again, whatever, y'all gonna laugh at me. I saw the other day Dragons doing an auction or sale, and he sold something, and then his thank you was like a standing Liberty quarter that looked like it was sitting under a bar stool for 40 years. What kind of?
So here's the thing: I don't, and
But
you and I are similar. Like, I will not do a giveaway. I said this last night. There was a guy who showed up, and he was like, "Do you do giveaways?" And I was like, "Oh crap, here we go." And I had to tell him like what my philosophy is on giveaways, right? Like, I believe that the people that are there for a freebie can go scratch. And the people that are there that want to watch, want to participate, and want to interact, and all that stuff, that's a totally different thing, right? And if I'm in the mood, I'll do a giveaway, but I won't do a, piece of crap giveaway. Because to me, I think that's like insulting when you do like, and I didn't see that what you're saying. Like, I didn't see.
Oh, but no. Look. There was something that went around. There's something that went. There's something that went around big time when he got like $3,000 or $4,000 for this 1-ounce dragon pour, and then he's like, "Oh, to show my appreciation," he literally gave away like a war nickel. Okay, like I'm with. Okay, whatever works for his audience. He's the one that's got the traffic, not me. So tell me to shut the F up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, who am I? Nobody. I don't even make content. So
it's true. You don't make any content.
So there's an argument to say that this guy,
you're like the dude on the couch.
Yeah. There's an argument to be said that a guy who gives away nickels after a 6-hour stream and making $20,000 gives away a nickel and he's got 100,000 followers. Like, it's crazy to think that that's what some people are susceptible for. But you and I look at it differently. I look at it as completely insulting. Like, I just gave you an hour of my time and you're going to offer me, one of 300 people, a quarter? Like, I'd rather you just not give it out. Like, don't insult me. But It works for him. Okay. It works for a lot of people.
Ugh.
I
And I
also
don't
know.
feel bad, and I don't feel bad about this though because he busts my balls all the time. I actually talked to Dragons on the phone the other day, and he's like, "What up, dude?" And I'm like, "Like you are like the little brother I never had and never wanted." I'm like, "You are a pain in the ass." He busts my balls all the time. He's like,
Well,
"Hey man," he's like, "Hey bro, how's that face reveal working out for you?" I'm like, "I fucking hate you."
well, look, and then there's a guy named Pat Flynn who I knew from being in San Diego. He started a business blog. He was a huge podcaster, and during COVID, he started doing this show called Deep Pocket Monster. He created from scratch a YouTube channel that did nothing but Pokemon. Now, he in like 4 months got 150,000 subs. You know how he did it? He took his money, he bought very expensive, rare vintage stuff, and every single video he gives it away. Every single
So
video
he's
is a
buying the
giveaway.
subs.
He's buying his subs. Do I think that is, to me, the antithesis? It's the opposite of what he teaches in his business life. You just bought your audience and they're not worth anything because all they're there for is free stuff. And in fact, if you go watch the comments, he'd be like, "Oh, it's my birthday today, so I'm going to open these Pokemon packs. And sorry, guys, I'm not doing a giveaway." Thumbs down, middle finger, dislike, dislike, dislike.
So do you would you agree that the model of buying subs isn't a genuine long sustaining model?
No, I think there's
That
always
through the
no,
giveaways. Like
no, it's
milestones,
not.
like so like Yankee said he like by the way, Yankee says he likes your Kool-Aid guy t-shirt.
Oh yeah, thank you,
Ya-
Yankee. Thank you.
Yankee, he is going to be giving away a 1 ounce gold coin when he hits the 100K subs. He also, I remember when he did hit a milestone, he did like a 1/4 ounce gold giveaway.
Uh huh.
Um, for milestones and things like that, I get
But
it.
he's not running his business, building his audience by giving the stuff away. Now,
Right.
let me if 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 this happened, if he was giving away 1 ounce gold coin every time he did a sponsored video, and therefore he had to charge 25,000 for that sponsored video because he was
Right.
spending 2,000 on a coin.
Right.
In short order, his business would shut down because people are only coming
It's just for the freebie.
for the
Right.
freebie, and the business that's paying him for that sponsored traffic is not going to get any benefit because they're only there to win the free stuff. So
Yeah.
there's a difference between running a business based on gauze, and there's a difference between rewarding your audience because you show appreciation.
Right. Let me
So
ask you another question now, too, getting on the sales track with whatnot. And graded 10. When you do graded 10, do you think, like, once you start it up, do you think you'll do any sort of like subscription service? Because I do see a lot of these sellers on whatnot, like the bigger ones that have like either comic book shops or whatever, they do subscription services. The problem I see, almost like Patreon, like Patreon, they would have a thing where like based on the level of membership, you would get like different
a reward.
and it could be like a tangible stuff. I'm like, I don't want to have to keep track of all these different subscriptions and keep stuff. You know what I mean? Like, but do you think that's going to be something that you would do with graded 10 as like a subscription service? Like, hey, for $30 a month, you get this, and $100 a month, you get that.
Look, I think the reality of it is depending on how I generate my revenue. So if I can go on Whatnot or YouTube or Instagram and I can put $10,000 in the bank when I need to pay bills because I can sell some stuff and my audience is prepared for that, then I probably don't need to come up with creative revenue drivers. But if I'm having trouble and I'm suffering with making money and making it worth my time to do it, then I might have to come up with something more creative. Now, I'm going to say that comic book guys, what they do is they do the mail order sort of mystery box. You pay
Yeah.
$20 a month, and they get 5 comics of my choice mailed to them every month. That's a relationship they have with their comic book store to help their comic book store sell more product. They build trust with their audience. It's not really as profitable, but it's a bonding agent between content creator and visitor. So I think really is going to depend on where my revenue model is. For me, I don't like baiting people. So it's either I sell it and I win, or I fail.
Right.
I think what I would rather do is be known as a buyer, like I do in the metal space. I'd rather be known as a buyer.
So
People
let me
who
go ahead.
people who can't dump 10,000 worth of silver, they're the ones that knock on the door. The guy selling the one silver eagle from 1998 is of no interest to me. It's not worth the time.
Right.
And nobody comes to me with that.
So let me ask you, do you have any books in particular that you are eyeing up right now that you really want? Like,
Should I say it?
Yeah. Here, let's do this. One that you're eyeing that you really, really want, but you know that you should not not pull the trigger on. Like, do not buy that right now. And then I want to
Okay.
know that. So that basically, like your dream one, like would you think you could probably do it, but you really shouldn't. And then like one that you're like, if you wanted to go and just buy it now, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I mean, a few things. I'm much like you. If there's something in my dreams, then I pretty much go get it.
Then you
So
move
I'm
on
an
to the
asshole.
next one.
I'm an asshole like that, and then I come up with a new dream. I'm gonna say that Amazing Spider-Man 316 in 9.8 newsstand, the Todd
Oh,
McFarlane
oh,
is the one that I want, and I don't want to buy it because it's twice, 3 times the last comparable sold. So the only ones that are available are like there's 2 or
double
3
or
on the
triple.
market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're double or triple what the last comp was, and the last comp was like 3 weeks ago. It's not like it was 3 years ago; it was 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
So it's like 3 guys got together and they were like, "We're gonna all list it, and we're all gonna ask $4,000 for it." But the comp is 1,600. So at 1,600, I could see paying 18. I could see paying 19, 20% increase. I cannot see maybe even 25% increase because it's something I really want. I cannot see paying double or triple in a bear market.
Yeah, I want that book too, but not a newsstand. You know,
And the
I'm
news,
willing to. I'm willing to take the direct.
and look, I mean for 6, but not 6. That's cheap.
Eight.
Like 8 or
It's
8,
830,
900.
850.
Yeah,
The
you could
cheapest
go
one that
get.
I saw.
Yeah, you could go get one right now for the same exact cover, designed by the same artist, the
Just
same
that little thing
everything,
on the bottom.
just in the barcode, and bingo bango. But for me, if I'm gonna go spend for me, there's certain pieces where I want to have that
Top
that
elusive.
extra level, right? That extra level, and that's worth the energy and the time for me, but it's not worth paying triple.
No.
So that's one. What was your other question?
The other question is, okay, so that's the one that you really want to go and get. Now, what's one that you can very easily right now just go and buy it and be like, all right, I'm so psyched that I have this. You know, like I'm looking at let's see, let me look at what am I watching?
Predator 1.
But what happened with the one that you put in an offer or something on the one? I told you just buy the freaking one that I told you, not the one that Dennis told you.
They went silent. They went
Dude.
silent. They didn't respond to my offer, and
All right, let's
so
find.
I stopped.
Predator.
Predator 1. Predator 1 is my nemesis.
Dude. There's one right now for $750.
Can you
What did I pay for mine? $600. No, $715 with
$715 and then shipping, right? And
I mean,
taxes on top.
Yeah. What do I share my screen so you can see it?
No,
Ah,
just
ah.
now. Just
Do I
send me the
put it?
link.
All right, I'm pulling it
The
up here, and then I'll
the
put it in the
private the
private chat. It
the private chat.
here. Paste.
You got me
Well,
doing this stuff. It's gonna go get bid up on me.
750. You're welcome.
Oh,
Watch list. Wait, let me get out of the watch list. And I'm going to sort this, guys. This is the part where DOA and I now
get
piss away our
distracted.
money. And
Yeah,
Squirrel go on our spending
We're-
sprees.
we do this at like 1 a.m, and like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to bed. Okay, me too. And then 2 hours later, hey, bro.
Look what I got. And you're like, oh, same here.
Oh,
Yeah,
like,
so the one that I originally found is still there at 829, 17 watchers. This one that I just sent you, it must have just listed, and I'm looking at it's not a second print. You should pull the trigger. That's like $30 more than I paid for mine. That's cheap. Pull the trigger.
okay, I just sent an offer. I just sent an offer.
Is that best? Oh, it says we're best offer.
I just sent an offer.
All
Silver
right.
Wolverine. Silverado says, "Do I have that Harlequin number? The Harley Quinn? This one is Harley Quinn #1. This is just I love this, and it's got the damn Vis Queen on it. Vis Queen, but this is an epic book. But honestly, Silverado, you can find these. You don't need me to do it.
Is that the good Mylar, or is that the crappy flimsy kind?
This is the good Mylar. Oh, and Silverado.
It's like $40 for 25.
Silverado.
Dude, you got to look at that one. Get the
no, this
one.
This is for Silverado. He's in the UK, and he called me and he's like, I can't buy it because it's in the I can't do the transaction. So I was like, all right, I'll go get it for you. So I got this for him, and it arrived today.
You have this is what I'm saying. You have an audience that you could start cultivating now. You should just start posting the content already.
Oh, I do. I mean, like, I do. Silver Trooper just sent me. There's 3 days left on that.
He's gonna be like,
Chaw. Jeff Wadford. Sorry if I mispronounced it. Said, he said I have great books tonight. Thank you.
I call him Flemwad. He loves that. Hold
on. I won the Predator. He accepted my offer.
What was the offer?
$675 accepted.
Oh boy, look at that, dude. Are you gonna thank me or Trooper on that one? Mm-hmm.
There it is.
That was my listing that I found for him, Trooper. Eat it.
Now,
congrats,
dude. Well, I gotta find a credit card that works.
Well, now I'm gonna go buy one.
Buy one what?
This one is a cheapo, and it's a cool cover. Let me share screen. Share my screen with everybody. How do I share my screen? Share screen. This is the one I'm going to go with. Let me get the graphics off of here.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going this one here. Look at it, DOA.
Oh, Bloody Wolverine.
$50.
Wait, Silver Heist said $675. Did I just buy the wrong thing?
What?
No, this is a first print.
That's what I said to you.
No, Silver Heist just had me jump through my butthole.
You did it again a second time.
I just squeaked the ass. My asshole just squeaked.
Oh.
I went. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Now is that Carnage that red black black, white, and blood. Whatever. Black, white, and blood. Is that a variant?
This? Yes, it's a variant. This is the Gleason variant, Gleason cover variant. So Gleason did a couple of different versions. This one is this is a very, you can see Carnage is eating the spider.
Uh-huh. Delightful. Yeah, this one is like cheap. This is $50. Troopers, what is he?
Trooper said I got the right one. So Stacking Surfer said, "Oh, Vert's here. What's up, Vert?"
Hey,
Stacking
Vertical.
Surfer says, "DOA, why did you ask for that much of a discount? Is there a percentage you look for, or just the price?" So I don't have a percentage I look for. What I do is position. What?
Feeling.
A feeling, but I do the same thing with. I do the same thing with metals. I offer a price. Trooper says, well, kind of. What do you mean, what kind of? If you got the right one, and then he says, well, kind of.
He's trying to make you feel bad for your purchase because he feels bad that he got a crappy second print of a cheap glow-in-the-dark Ghost Rider.
You know what time it is?
Hi.
There we go. What's up?
Nice to meet you.
Come on, McFatty. Come on, McFatty.
That's what DOA does.
Say hi, everybody.
My mom farted.
Oh,
you
man,
did.
live on air.
Really?
Oh, let's play with the microphone.
You guys, do you have like a family photo where everybody's wearing gold crowns?
No, but everybody in this family owns gold.
Yes.
There you
even
go.
Me.
Check this out. Show this to
This is my gold.
Silverado. Oh, nice.
Wait, is it? Oh, wait. Let's see.
Look at
that. That's a very cool one. Silverado, hit up Storm.
Silverado, check this out.
You might have to kill the center thing.
Oh, look at that one, Silverado. Carnage, black, white, and blood. Look at that. That's a cool one.
Hey, you bye-bye, because you sleepy.
My baby's still waving at everybody. Say hi, everybody. Hi, my name is Sophia Blue. Where's Riley Reed? Come on, Riley.
Hello.
Hi. Look at these hams. Look at these hams. Milk belly, hams. Let's see what happens when you hold the milk monster upside down.
Dude, she's gonna vomit.
No, she loves it.
She is going to vomit all over the place.
Hi, say hi, baby. She's got such an elegant wave. Look at that. I know I'm distracted by the baby, but I mean, there's just something about little babies. Okay, you see Mama? Mama.
It's like 9:30.
Okay, y'all get some sleep. I'll see y'all later. Thank y'all for coming to visit.
Kids have late bedtimes.
It's summertime.
That's true.
Get out of here. You want a spanking?
Beat it. Beat it, kid.
Beat it, kid. Do you have any family photo who is wearing 5 gold rings? No. But they do all own gold. So,
yeah, dude. What do you think? Go ahead.
Trooper said that, Tad Jones is here. I've been watching all night, been doing my best not to type anything annoying, Lord Stormy. What was the listed price on the Predator? $675. It was $750. Wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah. You got it for
$675.
Yep.
So I got it for what? 75 off.
And you got it. What's the shipping?
$12, which is pretty standard for a comic book.
Yeah.
But
are you happy now?
Oh, I'm thrilled. Somebody asked me though, what my percentage is. I do the same. Like, how do I determine that? So when I buy something that is not a requirement in life, this is an important lesson for those of you who are asking. if you're buying something that is not a requirement to support your family, I believe that you should put in an offer at a what I would call a no-brainer price.
Like a
So
10%, 20%, depending.
no, not even percentage. A no-brainer price, which can be a gut feeling. So, you know, if you're looking at a $10,000 car and you really don't need a new car, but the guy goes, "Man, you know what? I'm really desperate. You know, if you offered me 5 cash, I'd take it." That might be worth going to do. That might be going to worth to buy, right? So that's the way I look at it. Like 850, 900 is where they sit. 850, 900 is where they sit price point. Maybe they're coming down a little bit.
And it doesn't hurt to go ahead.
Stormy got a really good price, and it didn't hurt for me to try to ask for something lower. So they took it, but it's $675. It's a no-brainer price for me. Like,
it's good that they did it right away too. Like, it would have been annoying if you like woke up the next day and still heard nothing back. I hate that.
Oh yeah, they ignore you and ignore you and ignore. Yeah, it's frustrating. And I know what they're doing. They're waiting to see if somebody comes in with a better offer.
And what do you think about this one too? This is one too, another cheap one, and it's only $50. I want to put it in the private.
Hey guys, we got 41. I know he never asks, but I am. Can y'all hit the like button for us?
So check the one I just hit you. I just sent you. That one's cool too.
Anything Gen X Collectibles says, if I can get back to it, anything buying from disposable income, non-essential, always be willing to walk away with no regrets. So Gen X, yeah, that's essentially it. I always put it in my head like this is a no-brainer price. I do it with gold too. So they'll call me and I really got a special piece. I go in and I tell them point blank, listen, you're not going to sell this to any old person, and not everybody can walk in with this much cash. So it's going to be tough to sell. I don't need this item. I literally tell them, I don't need this item. No one needs this item. So I need to have a really good reason to buy it right now. And that really good reason comes down to numbers.
What do you think about the one I sent you? Cool?
Oh, wait, let me look.
And it's like $50 too for that. It's like, I just think it's a cool picture.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know the artists, but let me put it to you this way: at $50, that's below the cost of getting it graded and shipped.
Right. But
that's another thing. I'll take two more things. Another thing is with pricing. I used to do this with sports cards all the time. If the cost of getting something graded is blank, and you can acquire that item for that amount or less, then it is sort of a no-brainer. So if it costs you $40 on average to get a comic book graded, and it might or might not get a 9.8, but you can buy a 9.8 comic book for $45. Why even risk it? Just buy it. If you got $45, you got $45 laying around and you want to add something to your collection, bingo bango, just get it done. Silverado wants to see it. I will also say Patriot Comics just
hey, what's up, Patriot?
I got killer deals on Moon Knight #1 and ASM 361. So yesterday the news came out, Moon Knight is not getting renewed on Netflix.
So it was on Disney.
Disney, yeah, sorry.
So it was poopy, bad reviews.
They're just not getting renewed. I mean, I think it was hit or miss, but
do you think that's going to make the values tank?
Yep. Well, sort of. It's going to immediately drop the prices for Moon Knight 1. Okay. So immediate drop in Moon Knight 1, but then they're nominated for like Emmys, sound, editing, there was like a lot. There's like 6 or 7 or 8 different Emmy nominations. If they win the Emmy, boom, it'll jump back up. So now's the right time to buy it. What's your thoughts on?
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you tell them what you think about Miles Morales Spider-Man? Do you like
So
Miles Morales?
I own Ultimate Fallout 4 in 9.8. I own that book.
Crazy how it's a new book and how valuable it is.
Yeah, I mean, I have the book. I
Are you a fan or is it more of a spec?
I am not a fan at all, but it's not spec either. It's part of history. Miles Morales is not a white guy
Right.
who's Spider-Man.
Right.
I hate the fact that somewhere somebody decided that in order to, quote, be fair, they had to change this character. I just don't like that. A character's a character. I don't go changing Thundercats into Thunder Giraffes. So I don't like that, but it is what it is. I think Thunder Giraffes. I think it's part of history.
I agree.
I think it's just.
I think they just announced that the first gay Spider-Man.
They did. Again, that like it's not my shtick, but it's part of history. Yeah. And so from that perspective, like I'm willing to invest in it because I do believe that history is important.
See, what I think is weird is just and I saw the movie Into the Spider-Verse, which was a good movie, but it's weird to me how you have all these different Spider-Men, and so now you have all these other new Spider-Men, and they exist in different universes and everything. I'm so used to like, here's your character, but I can understand it. Like you would have your one character, and if it's really that popular, why not get another team on a different book of that character and sell more books and go in a different direction with that character? Like, I get it, but it's too much to have to.
Well, yes, it's. I think there's so many creative people out there that there's a massive opportunity to come up with new ideas and new characters that have such an immense impact on today's culture code, society, and cinema. I think that is a no-brainer. So while I'm frustrated with the idea that everybody needs to be changing this stuff to whatever fit an agenda, I know that it's a part of history, and that's why I invested in it. Now, Miles Morales, number 1, is undervalued.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 is undervalued. Let me see if I can find it for you. Or I think it's actually number 1. Hold on. Let me see.
I just found something pretty damn cool that I'm willing to bet money that you've never seen before.
Uh-oh. Wait, do I look like I've seen everything?
I would be surprised if I send this to you and you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Here. Click on that. Tell me your thoughts. It's one of your favorite. You're going to see why I sent that to you. The reason why DOA and I are being like little hush-hush on some of these things is because we're either A, planning on buying it, or B, planning on doing something with it with you freaks in mind. But check out what I sent you.
I see it.
No good? That's cool. And
I like it.
And it's your boy.
I like it. Let me show them this. How do I do this?
Share your screen. And then we got to wrap up here.
Yeah, brother, I got you.
Going on an hour and a half. It's past my bedtime. Yes, I know it's summertime, but I still have to get up early and deal with my children early. Let's get.
Can you see this
graphic? I can. Let's go like that, and then you have to just maximize it.
It's as max as it goes.
No, there, I maxed it more for you. So what?
So this is Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, Marvel Comics 1111. This is a superlatively underrated. This is technically Miles Morales number 1.
And so what's that going for?
$3,600.
That one right there.
Yep.
So what's the difference between that and Ultimate Fallout? Ultimate
36, 3,900.
But Ultimate Fallout, that's like the very first Miles Morales.
They call it the first full appearance, and he's not wearing a mask.
So that one came first.
This is number 1. That's Ultimate Fallout.
No. Ultimate Fallout came out. That was the first time you ever saw Miles Morales, or is this one that you're showing us the very first time Miles Morales?
This is the very first time.
That's the time he ever appeared. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Got it.
This one, but Ultimate Fallout 4 came like 8 years later.
Okay.
And is considered the first full appearance.
So strange how they do that. Do you own this one that you're showing or not yet?
I have a dealer in Canada that has one for me in 9.8.
Are you gonna do it?
I have already agreed to it, but I am not because I do so much business with him. I'm not required to pay him right now.
Right now?
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a business, I have a family. I'm like everybody else. I've got stuff that has to get bought and paid for. And while I wish I could just blow exorbitant amounts of money, which I tend to do, I wish I could do that twice a day or 10 times a day. I can't. So I'm like everybody else. I got to have budgets. So I'm taking my time, and you just ruined it with that Predator buy.
Dude, that was a good buy. You got it below 700. You just made the values tank for all those people that spent so much on it.
Welcome to what Silver Trooper does to me daily. I buy something for $100. He goes and wiggles his way through for $30 and destroys the market. Destroys the market. It's crazy. He
really is destroying the second facsimile reprint market. It's that.
Yeah.
That's the market.
Don't ask this. So it's in your wallet. Yes. That's a very good point. Don't ask. I don't buy them for flip potential, though. I don't buy them for that. I buy them for literally the day I'm dead.
I love this. I'll show one more, and then
and then we wrap up because it's been a good solid hour and a half.
Share screen. I like this one.
Ted Jones is just dying to be sarcastic. I love it. Okay, so this is what? This is mid 90s, early 80s. What is this?
No, 87.
Okay, so it's 1987, early 90s style artwork. This is my absolute favorite style artwork.
Yep. It's just they're fighting. There's nothing like key about it. It's just I love, like you said, the cover is just really, really cool. I don't know these artists, Alan Davis and Paul Neary cover art. I just think it's a really cool book. I think
y'all are killing me. This is hilarious. Silver Trooper says all my middle fingers are blocked. Wallets are great, but not for flipping. I agree. Don't ask. That was my argument earlier. So
next week,
I think this I had fun. What are we doing next week, brother?
I don't know. I want you to come up with a topic of discussion for next week. Next week, you whatever you want to discuss. That's what we're gonna roll with.
Loose women and pickpockets.
That's what you're choosing?
Well, I mean, you said pick a topic. I just want to see if you'll title it. Loose women and pickpockets is going to be on the title on your channel.
No,
I'm going to break all the rules.
No, it will not. That will not happen. So, everybody, we're going to sign off here. DOA is...
Ted Jones is just dying.
Here,
he's playing
commercial.
He's playing hot potato with himself.
I just hit insert ad. Good night, everybody. We will see you guys next week on Expensive Paper. DOA was a blast.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Y'all have fun. Thanks.